This is going to show you how to create your Weebly website. So you will go to www.weebly.com and it should look something like this. I'm using the Chrome browser, which I recommend just because that's what's worked each semester and we haven't had any issues with this browser and the website. You're going to click sign up in the top right corner. You're going to fill out your name. You can also sign up with Google or Facebook. I don't recommend Facebook just because you don't want that tied to your Facebook profile, but you can continue with Google if you'd like to. And then enter a password. This is a password that you need to remember because you are not going to be able to retrieve it through us. You're going to have to either remember it or know the email that you use so that you can retrieve it if you forget it. And then you're going to hit create your site. That's going to take you to an option asking if you want to sell online. For this project, you're going to hit not now. And then you're going to get a theme. So this is something you can change later. You can kind of scroll through here. I wouldn't spend a lot of time in this area because you really need to focus on getting your information in there. So I'm going to use a portfolio theme, and I'm just going to use a very simple theme that's in here. And I'm going to click this. And this is where you can start editing. Up here at the top right-hand side, you click the Start Editing button, and it's going to begin to create your site. Some of the elements that you need to have are the 5 pages, which you can create as soon as this loads. Okay, you're going to use a subdomain of Weebly, and I recommend doing your first and last name with an underscore or no space. I guess you can use an underscore. So I'm going to do Julie Howe, and I'm going to say test site or test so that they know it's my test site. And it's going to have that .weebly.com after it. If you register a new domain or use one you already own, you're going to have to pay if you do it that way. So you really want to use the subdomain of Weebly. You shouldn't have to pay for anything. And I'm going to hit continue. From here, this is where I can build my website. So it's going to give you some information here where it says got it. You can just X out of this, or you can go through the tutorial. That's up to you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my pages. So up here at the top, you see the pages button. You have 4 pages. Typically, the themes have 4 pages. There's a blog page. This is a different type of page, and so I don't want that. I'm going to delete that page because I don't want a blog page on here. The rest are content pages, but I need 5 pages, remember. So I'm going to add a standard page and call it ESU resources. And then I'm also going to add a standard page and call it just resources. And then I can drag these around. My home page or my About Me page, I can change the name by clicking on it. A little arrow back. My second page, I can call student information, and then I can have parent information. You can call these whatever you want based on the rubric. You can sort these how you want. You can add additional pages. What's required for this project is the 5 pages. And so once I've got these pages set up, then I can go back over to build, add at the top, and I'm going to see all my pages across here. This JS photography, which is the theme I chose, so I can change that to Mrs. Howe's class. Now, if you notice, those are all caps. I didn't type in all caps. It's what the theme has set for me, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. So here's a contact button. I don't want that there. So if I mouse over it, you're going to see the red X come up, and I can delete that. And then down here's some information. So this is where you can do anything about you. So I can double click here, say about me, and then put in some information and go on and on. So I don't want this centered. I can click here and do a left justification. It's kind of like Word. There's a lot of different options here. What I can also do is pull in an image. So if I want my picture here, then I can put a picture here. I just drug that. So if you didn't see that, I'm going to do it real quick here again. So over here from the left-hand build menu, I just drag whatever I want to use over into my template. Now I'm going to click the image, upload image, and upload from my computer. And so I've got different pictures here. That. Okay, so there's my picture. You can use a picture of your family. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to enter some information about me. If I don't want this here, like this is a contact form, then I just delete it. And I can pull over whatever I want. You could pull over a gallery. There's some different information if you just want text or a title. There's also spacers and dividers. So if I want a divider after about me, just to make it look kind of different, then I can put that there. I can put a spacer in if I want to add some space. And what's neat about a spacer is when you put it over here, I can actually expand it. So from this bottom area, there we go. I can pull it down and make more space. So that's an option if you need to add space in anywhere. I'm going to delete that. So you're going to do your about me here, and there's specific elements that have to be on that page, which are in the Blackboard module. For student information, again, you get to pull over whatever you want in here as far as what would you want your students to know. So there's some pictures and some things here. If I have a picture, I can click on this picture and I can link it to something. So if I wanted to send it to a calendar, or you can go out and find some other teachers' websites, like from the schools, from some of the schools that we talked about. And if I go to the high school, actually I'm going to use an elementary school because they typically have more information. And I'm going to find my teacher's website. Okay, so she doesn't have a website. She's got a PDF here, and she goes through there, so that's not really going to help us. Let's go back. To the teachers. But you can find these things. So maybe I want to link it to the school calendar, or link it to anything you want, really. I mean, you can pull over whatever you want to pull over. You don't have to create it. So here's the school calendar. So I can copy this link and input that into my Weebly site. I can say that I want it to link to that website and open in a new window. And so now this is going to link to that school calendar. You can do that also with a button right here. So you can pull a button over and you can say, I'm going to call this school calendar, and then I can link it the same way I just did. So now I have my school calendar here. And when I'm in here, I can center that, right justification or left justification. You can change the style a little bit. You can make it larger or dark. And then you can also type in there whatever you want. So that's what I mean when I say on your links, don't just pull over a text box and type in Carleton.edu, and even if you would link that, it just doesn't look very visually appealing. So There, I've got it linked, but that doesn't look as good as something like this. So I don't want to see this. I want to see either a button or a picture or something else that links to it. And make sure you go in and look at some of the examples that I put into the folder in your Blackboard module. So other than that, these are all tools that you can use. Now, if they have the little lightning bolt, that means it's a paid tool. I don't want you to pay for anything. There's no reason for any of that. You can section off things. You just kind of have to play with it. So once you've kind of got your information in here on all 5 pages, then if you go over to the pages area again, I can drag these and say that I want student information under a certain area. See how it kind of tabbed it over a little bit? So now I've only got 4 pages listed, but then if I scroll over about me, student information is there. You wouldn't want to categorize those 2 together, but there are some options if you want to add additional pages. On the theme button at the top, this is where you can either change your theme completely, and it'll go and do that. I'm not going to do that right now. Some of the themes, so I'm going to click that again. Some of the themes have what they call landing pages, where it's going to be a large landing area. Some of them have headers, some of them don't. It just really depends on the theme you choose. You're going to see some of that in this Pages tab. When you click on a page, you can say if you want a header, no header, if you want any of this other information here. You can kind of choose that in the Pages area. In the theme area, you can change the font. So when I mouse over some of these different things, the site title, see how the blue it outlines it in blue, and then I can go in and change the size and the font and all sorts of things. I can do a bold font. I can change the color. I can do all sorts of things here. I can say uppercase on or off. Now that depends on the theme too. And then I can also change the font type. So you can do a lot of different things there. Then you have to do that on every single area. So just because I changed the font in my title doesn't change the font in the rest of it. So this does take a little bit of time. So it's good if you can find a theme that you like, then that's less things that you have to change it here. The other options up here you really don't need to worry about. You do want to make sure that you're doing the desktop. There's a mobile section too, but we're not going to be looking at this on our mobile device, so don't worry about what it looks like on the mobile. You want to make sure you're on the desktop, and that's the default area that you're going to be editing. There is a help option, so there's a support center that has some different tools in there that you might want to look at. And then on your settings, this is just if you wanted to go and change your title or change some different areas. You're probably not going to want to use that much. What's the most important thing before you can upload to Blackboard? You need to publish this. So this is what's neat. You can go and change this. So I'm going to publish this, and it's always going to be this subdomain, juliehowelltest.weebly.com. You call yours your name, or Mrs. Howell's class, whatever you want to call it. You just can't have any punctuation in the name. I'm going to hit continue, and then it's going to publish. This is the link that we need. We cannot use, if you go up here and copy this, it's going to take us to our Weebly account. We can't see your site then. We need the published website. This is what you copy and paste. So now if I click this, I'm going to see my published website. Now, of course, this is a lot of the basic stuff that I didn't change, but I can go through here and actually see everything. So on this first page, if I click some of the second page. Okay, so I linked this, and see how it's going to link out to the calendar because I had linked that in my Weebly site. So that's what we need. Now, if I don't like something, how it looks, I can go back here and make changes. I just have to make sure that, on my About Me page, I'm going to go take some stuff off. I can take all this off, and then all I have to do is hit publish again, and it will republish it. It's still the same link. So don't worry about the link ever changing. Just make sure that you upload that published link. So if I hit publish again, it's the same link. You just have to make sure that it says website published, because that's what we're going to see. If you give us this link up here that starts with Weebly, we can't use it. So to get your points and to get the assignment turned in correctly, you need to make sure you publish it and give us that link. So this just gives you some tips on how to create and how to use some of these tools over here. It's a very user-friendly program. You need to have the 5 pages. All of the elements are listed within the Blackboard module. You need to do this based on a class you would want to teach. So it's as though you were the teacher and you have what information would you give students, parents, and then your resources you can pull from the annotated bibliography you did. So what resources did you find? What games maybe that you would give to your kiddos? Or some online information that you would give them. Again, you want to use buttons or text or something that looks more visually appealing than just a text box with that link in there. So you need to link it to like an image or the button or something else. Your TSU resources, those are any items that you have created while you're at Charleston State University. So in this area, this is where you might pull over a file, and you can download the file. You would give it a title here, and then it would be a link to a file. Or you might do like a document where you're able to scroll through the document here, and there's a lot of different areas here. So you would just upload a new file here, and do that here. So those are some different options, but it's just 5 resources that you created while you've been at Charleston. And they can be from this year. They can be anything that you want to kind of showcase. So everything else is in the Blackboard module. This hopefully helps you a little bit. If you have questions, reach out to Emma Burton through the Blackboard Mail app. And good luck with this project this week. Have a great week.